That's what they say when we're together. And watch how you play. They don't understand. And so we're running just as fast as we can, holding on to one another's hand, trying to get away into the night. And then you put your arms around me and we tumble to the ground. And then you say, I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. Look at the way we gotta hide what we're doing. 'Cause what would they say if they ever knew? And so we're running just as fast as we can, holding on to one another's hand, trying to get away into the night. And then you put your arms around me and we tumble to the ground. And then you say, I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones
Warning, this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, I've got my bearded brother here with me to break down all these shit-talking shenanigans, the fight announcements, and fuckery that has trickled out the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last. Before we get into all of that, though, first and foremost, how you doing over there, brother?
Good, now that we got the plumbing issues fixed.
Shit happens. What are you going to do?
That's it.
As you may have noticed, there is no UFC card this weekend, but I have said it before and I will say it again. Even though we primarily run the show around the UFC's calendar schedule, so does every other major combat sports organization in the world. And being as that this is the first weekend of the year with combat sports and no UFC, I wanted to run down just a quick little show here for you, give you a little update on the news, interesting announcements, give you a little fight menu, and tell you all about all of the non-UFC things that there are still to look forward to this weekend. So kick things off the way we like to around here. First and foremost, a little bit of news and recent events, fight announcements, fight cancellations, rumor confirmations, things like that relevant in the MMA world we feel that you fine folks need to be aware of. So first and foremost, we're going to tie back to last weekend real quick because there was a lot that happened after we went off the air, and some of it definitely deserves a little bit of shout out here. So, excuse me. First and foremost, Yuri Prohaska showed up to weigh-ins with a fully shaved bald head, and then we found out why, because Yuri Prohaska has befriended a girl named Ashley who is going through chemo right now, and he shaved his head in solidarity with her, then flew her and the rest of the oncology department that she was in out to the fights, brought her up on the stage for the weigh-ins, and donated $50,000 of his own money, not to mention getting Dana White himself to match that with another $50,000 to help her out with all of that shit. So if you can watch all of that and then watch Yuri beat the shit out of Jamal Hill and you still can't root for him, I don't understand why you're watching combat sports at this point, because that dude is a genuine, bona fide, good human being and a bad motherfucker in the cage, and he proved both this last weekend. So absolute fucking tip of the cap to Yuri Prohaska. Bad motherfucker, and I'm glad to see it.
Not to mention the shout out to her after the fight.
Absolutely.
He was still in the moment enough to still point her out. I was like,
yep.
That dude is an absolute fucking legend of a human being.
Hell
and the
yeah.
way he dismantled Jamal Hill,
yeah.
I was like, oh God.
Well, and the best part was that even after he dismantled Jamal, they went and got drinks afterwards, and they posted pictures of the two of them fucking cheers and having drinks afterwards, because Yuri's just a good fucking dude like that.
Yeah, there was no animosity there. It was just they knew the fight had to happen between them because it should have been for the title initially, but you know, Yuri, being the great guy he is, fucking abandons the title because he gets injured. And to be honest, I like his call out, but I don't see it happening.
I very much agree. I think it was the right thing to call, but I don't know if the UFC is going to get on board and play ball with him for it. So we'll see how it goes, but you know,
especially now that they know Ankalaev is next on the chart. Right. And I don't think Ankalaev gets it done unless he somehow gets a hold of him and puts him on the ground.
Yeah, I don't
even though Pereira trains with fucking Glover on the ground, Ankalaev is a fucking monster on the fucking ground when it comes to light heavyweights.
He's a strong fucking blanket when he gets you down, for damn sure. So,
but he's got to get him down first.
I was gonna say, but it's all got to get there for that to happen. So, for sure. The other part that we've got here that ties back to last weekend was during the actual weigh-in period on Friday, at the very end of the broadcast, we found out Arman Tsarukyan had, I'm saying this in air quotes for those of you listening, hurt his back and would not be able to continue and had to pull out during the weigh-ins. So on, I believe they said it was a total of an hour and a half's notice, because he had already weighed in and made championship weight, Renato Moicano steps up on one day, already made championship weight because he had a feeling. They gave him the go ahead. He stepped in on one fucking day notice to take on Islam Makhachev. And we talk about it all the fucking time. In a short notice fight, it's not just a guy who steps up on short notice taking the fight. It's also the originally scheduled opponent who is taking that fight on short notice. So again, tip of the cap to both gentlemen for taking a 1 day short notice main event fight to close out the first fucking pay-per-view for the UFC of the year.
I want to point something out here that I noticed. Was it a week or two ago? Fucking on Mighty Mouse's fucking podcast, the Mighty Cast. He had Kevin Holland on there. He asked Kevin Holland about fighting Hamzat on short notice. Apparently, it wasn't that short of notice. There had already been whispers in the air. So I have a feeling that that was already fucking known, because when you read the articles afterwards, he said he heard it in his last sparring session during training. He hurt his back. So he'd known that whole fucking time. He was just praying to God it was going to be good enough that whole fucking time. So I'm pretty sure they said, hey, little birdie says Moicano's going to get the shot. You should probably make fucking championship weight.
Hit 55, not 56. Trust us.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he fucking knew beforehand, but that's still not enough time to fucking be prepared for the ground onslaught that you're going to get from fucking goddamn Islam. Not to mention, if you haven't watched any tape on Islam, you know that Darce is his fucking choke. He owns that motherfucker. He put Poirier to sleep with it. Fucking, if he gets a hold of it, it's over.
It's trouble for sure. Yeah. No, props to both of them. But I will say that it was a little bit unexpected, but it was refreshing at the post-fight press conference to hear Dana White himself say, Arman is out. You know, they never like it when you pull out day of, but because of all of the things that led up to the circumstances of Arman pulling out the day before the fight, he is no longer in the title conversation at all. He has kicked himself back to the bottom, and he will literally have to fight his way back to the top of the rankings again. So I think that was the right fucking move, because as we mentioned, this is not something that was new. If you follow Arman's social media, 3 days before weigh-ins, he was, I don't even know what they call the move. Most wrestlers do it where they put their fucking head down on the mat, and Valentina does it a lot where they turn their whole body around their head on the ground. Yeah. He was literally doing that with Nina Drama 2 days before weigh-ins with no problems.
That's a loosening up exercise is what that is.
I don't know what the name of it is.
Flexibility. And
it's like a loosening all your joints move. But he was literally doing that on camera with Nina Drama 2 days before weigh-ins.
He's walking himself all the way around and
no problems there. But so I will say there was one other person who had an opinion on this after the facts started to come to light that made a whole lot of sense as well. And that was Josh Barnett, who said that he has absolutely seen issues like a back problem like this flare up in, a 24-hour period like this. But the only time he's ever seen it happen like that is when guys are cutting excess of 25 to 30 pounds in a short period of time, and your body just cannot handle it, which makes cramps easier, which makes injuries easier to happen. Barnett said he has seen guys undertake almost the exact same, I say in air quotes, back injury from an extreme weight cut in too short of a period of time as well. So
that all makes sense, because I mean, if you go and you look at fucking California State Athletic Commission, they release how much weight they gained after weighing in. They're one of the few states that do that, which is fucking great. There was guys, I think fucking Islam gained like almost 25 pounds or some shit like that.
That was one of the big things, is that Islam gained like 25 pounds. Hanato gained like 34 pounds. Hanato was heavier than Islam when they got into the cage by like 10 pounds.
It's fucking wild. Then you look at the only one who didn't gain a lot of fucking weight, Yuri.
Yep.
Yuri much basically fights at his own natural weight
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. I think, and then there was one fight on the card where there was like a 27-pound weight difference at the fucking fight
step in. Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ, that's wild.
Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. So obviously, we had and still X2 to close out last weekend. Islam retained his belt, got Hanato in the first round. Marab took Umar into deep fucking waters and drowned his fucking ass for a long fucking
I'm not gonna
decision
lie.
fight.
I was so happy watching that. And not to mention, anybody who has time to be able to showboat on the Nurmagomedov camp, fucking tip of the cap. Because he fucking drops him on his back, points at him, he's fucking laughing. He's talking to him during the fight.
Yep.
I'm like, this is fucking, it was wild.
Yeah, I was quite pleased to see the results play out the way that it did. I wish Nato would have gotten a little longer shot, but on short notice against a guy as dangerous as Islam, it's kind of how a lot of us figured out.
To be honest, he didn't look bad on the feet against him.
No,
but it was
did not.
Once he got to the ground, he seemed like he didn't know what he was supposed to fucking do.
Yeah, and Hinato even released a statement the night after. He says, "I worked my whole life, and I fucking tapped in the first round. God damn it, back to the drawing board."
And to his credit, I mean, he did take it on short notice.
All the pressure in the world was on his fucking shoulders, man.
Yeah. To his credit, as much as I haven't liked his whole money persona that he's brought out, it's working for him.
Yes, sir.
But obviously, dude, you weren't working at the right things. You got to work on that ground game when you know the guy at the fucking top is a ground game specialist. Yes, he can fucking strike, but he's much better. He's more dangerous on the ground than he is on the feet.
Right. Yeah, no, that was a hell of a weekend for sure. So that being said, that'll bring us up to the more current news things we've got to talk about here real quick. The first one, a pair of them actually, for the March 8th UFC 313 card from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. We got an addition or a pair of additions and then a subtraction for the card here. So first and foremost, we found out that after all of the bullshit leading up to it, the dancing around, the shifting around, now we come to find out that Vitor Petrino is injured and he's out of the UFC 313 fight against Yonata Deniz anyways. It was going to be his first time moving up to heavyweight. Now it's just not even happened. And the strangest part, it's something that we don't really hear a lot about, but it actually makes a lot of sense, especially during camp for a fighter to experience. Vitor Petrino has a clinically certified double case of tennis elbow. Not fun. If you've ever had that happen, it sucks so fucking bad. And I do get that calling it tennis elbow kind of downplays the severity and the seriousness of the injury, but it is a genuine bona fide injury. And Vitor got it in both fucking elbows at the same goddamn time. So much as I do want to give him props for trying to go up to heavyweight and try and, add a little experience and resume to his career, he ain't doing it with a pair of tennis elbows like that. So as of right now, it looks like UFC is just going to let Yonata Deniz fall back and drop that fight off the card. It wasn't really necessary or, crucial to that card anyway. So hopefully Petrino gets healed up and gets back. And we do see him make that jump to heavyweight because he's a big dude and he allegedly cuts a lot of weight to make 205. He's one of those that probably genuinely would be better fighting closer to his walking around weight at heavyweight. But because he is so big and is able to make the cut to light heavyweight, he definitely gets the advantage there. So we'll see how that goes out moving forward here. We did get the crowning announcement for 313 this weekend, though. The co-main event for 313 on March 8th will be Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker, which is a fucking spectacular fight. And they've been talking about for a while now. It is official. That is our co-main event. And the main event will now officially be Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev for the 205 belt, headlining 313. Like we kind of mentioned earlier, I don't think that's going to go very well for Ankalaev. I will be amazed if we see 2 rounds of that fight, genuinely. I just don't think Pereira is going to give him the chance to be the wet blanket that he can be. And Ankalaev's very hittable. He's very hittable. And Alex is a great fucking striker, point blank, period. So I don't think that's going to work out well for him, but they are shaping up 313 to be a pretty interesting pay-per-view from Las Vegas. That being said, with all the controversy going on and the recent release from PFL it was nice to see this week that we got confirmation Patricio Pitbull has officially signed with the Global Fight League. Now, clearly that does not prohibit him from signing with the UFC at a later point, but realistically, especially after Dana talked about it last weekend, the UFC is most likely not going to pick up Pitbull, even though it would make a hell of a great addition to either 45, 55, or he's even fought as low as 35 as well. He's got that same Jose Aldo kind of fucking range when his body weight. So looks like they're going to let him go, but it looks like the GFL was not, because they picked him up, and the GFL actually has their first fighter draft to start building the teams for their league going out this year, happening tomorrow, Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, everywhere, YouTube and all of the promotional networks as well. So I will definitely be keeping an eye on that to see how that shakes loose.
Moving just because they said they're looking at picking up Aaron Pico.
Yeah, because Aaron
Pico, when they said they're definitely interested in Pico, I was like, that's going to be a hot addition to the UFC.
Fuck yeah. I think Pitbull could do some damage and could have some interesting fights. But the fact that Dana was flat out open, the fact that they are interested in Aaron Pico could make some fucking interesting splashes over in the UFC for damn sure as well. Okay, that being said, we got confirmation yesterday that instead of happening next week, the courts have officially moved back Cain Velasquez's sentencing to the end of March. This most likely has something to do with the Global Fight League doing their first draft tomorrow, like I mentioned just a little bit ago here, and Cain being one of the managers for the GFL's Global Fight League teams. It's not like Cain's sitting on his ass. Cain is out there busy doing everything he can. So it's nice to see that they're giving him a little bit of time to get things rolling before they probably put him away for a little while this shakes loose. That being said, closing it out with a trio of what the fuck are we really doing here in news, but it is relevant and you guys deserve to know about it here. The first one, we got word Saturday for some fucking reason. The UFC has decided that the next upcoming season of The Ultimate Fighter, season 33, will be coached by Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen to be coaching welterweights and flyweights. And as is the case with Chandler versus McGregor, these coaches obviously will not fight because they are both retired. I don't understand why the UFC is doing this, because they've already got those two together doing a podcast that DC ran Ryan Clark out of. But apparently they think for some reason they'll do better as coaches for the Ultimate Fighter. I don't agree, but we will see. We will see. We also got word this week, officially, the decision has been made. The All-American Chris Weidman has officially retired. We kind of all knew it was coming. Honestly, I think it probably would have been better if he would have just done it at the end of the last fight. They could have rolled that promo package for him while everybody was there and give him a nice proper send-off. And instead, the UFC essentially made that same, thank you promo package that they do for retiring fighters, and they posted it on fucking Instagram with a "thanks, Chris" message. I clearly don't agree with a lot of what Weidman has been doing here in the latter portions of his career, but to try and downplay his relevance and part to play in building the UFC up to what it is right now is a little silly. He definitely will have a place in the Hall of Fame, I believe, but it's weird when they let these retirements go out like this and then run full fight promo 3-minute videos for Karate Hottie when she retires and shit. I don't know. UFC is going to UFC. The last one I've got here real quick though, it's definitely a what the fuck. I don't understand why it happened to begin with, but it happened and I feel that people should be aware of it. We got official word directly from the horse's mouth this week that Anthony Smith, after his last loss, asked Hunter Campbell if he could go do Power Slap. He was willing to stop fighting MMA and walk over into Power Slap. And Hunter Campbell told him flat out, no, we're not even going to offer it to you. You can commentate, you can fight, but you're not doing power slap. Funny, since they let Paige Van Zandt go over and do it with no questions asked, and then brought her back and then talking about bringing her back a third fucking time, but someone who's actually been relevant for the UFC, like Anthony Smith, they won't even consider it. I don't think Anthony Smith should have considered it to begin with, but the fact that he did and Hunter Campbell flat out told him no says all sorts of things about both him and his place in the UFC at this point in time. But that is what I have got for news this week. You got anything over there I might have missed, champ?
There's one thing, but I can't remember the fucking fighter's name right now. Well, former UFC fighter, was active BJJ fighter. Just got diagnosed with heart failure. So
Shit.
Just know if shit ain't feeling right, go get checked out, because a guy that's in tip top shape, still actively competing in a combat sport, can show up with heart failure. Anybody can. So, look, that hits close to home. The missus has heart failure. So, anybody, if you're not feeling quite right, feeling tired, shit just ain't kicking right, go see your doctor, because you might be in tip top shape and you don't fucking know. But it's worth a check out. I really wish I could remember the name of the fucking fighter right now, because it's bugging the shit out of me, but it is something that I thought was noteworthy and want to send him well wishes, even though I don't remember his fucking name off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that after the show, and I'll throw that story up on the I'm No Joe Discord for those of you who aren't aware. Yes, there's a Discord in the news that isn't getting talked about in this segment, but is still relevant. Gets posted over there. Also, if you have questions for us, questions about fights in general, you can drop them over on the I'm No Joe Discord, link down in the description down below, no matter where you're listening or watching this. Come on over. It's a good time over there. That being said, this would normally be the point where we've got the young kid in here telling us about all the names who are going to be names before they get to be names. But unfortunately, he's working overtime this week and he's not going to be able to make it this evening. So we're going to skip over that, because there are literally a half a dozen cards going on this weekend, and we're not going to get in and break down any of them here because there's so fucking much. We're just going to give you the combat sports menu for the weekend here, tell you all about all of the cards going on non-UFC. You have something over there?
Yeah, one of our lovely members out there got it. It's Wagner Rocha.
Oh shit, Wagner Rocha. Yeah, no, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu black belt, combat's Jiu-Jitsu fucking champion, submission underground champion. Yeah, badass black belt. No shit, I didn't realize that was Wagner Rocha. No shit.
I couldn't remember his fucking name for the life of me, but I knew he was a former UFC fighter and active in the BJJ community still.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the few people to make fucking Mason Fowler actually work for a fucking match in years. Yeah, Wagner Rocha's a badass. No shit. Well, definitely thoughts out to fucking him for sure. Good call. Okay, so that being said, combat sports menu for the weekend. Like I said, no UFC, and everyone seems to be taking advantage of that. So there is plenty for you to look forward to this weekend. Starting out, as they often do, bright and fucking early, first thing tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm not watching this one. 170 Taiwan Chai versus Superbond 2. This is one of the better cards you can watch for combat sports with your coffee in the morning. If you need something to look forward to, Marcelo Garcia is getting back into action after beating cancer. That's pretty fucking awesome, and I will absolutely be watching the replay for that, if nothing else. There are several fighters on here that the casual fan will still recognize. The hardcores are going to know about half this, but because it is one, there are 2 MMA fights, 1 submission grappling, Marcelo Garcia, and then 8 Muay Thai fights in 4-ounce MMA gloves. And if you have not seen them do Muay Thai in gloves, it is fucking spectacular. It is one of my favorite things that they do over there. But a literal true mixed martial arts multi-discipline card first thing in the morning tomorrow. After that brings us over to Saturday, and Saturday we start out early, but not quite that early. Saturday we start over in Dubai at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for the Road to Dubai. What used to be Bellator is now being called the PFL Champions Series. Paul Hughes versus Usman Nurmagomedov heading the card up. Vadim Nemkov versus Tim Johnson at heavyweight for the co-main event. This card has got all sorts of fucking fun fights up and down it here, and some crazy fucking odds that we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But there is going to be all kinds of fun had from Dubai, and will tell us a lot about what PFL actually has to offer going forward once we've got that all said and done, because there's a lot hanging in the wings. Following up after that, kicking off at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central Standard, will be KSW 102 from over in Poland. This is one of those European feeder organizations. Most folks are not going to know many, if any, of the names on the cards, but this is one of those organizations where when guys and gals start to get good wins, generally when they get to the title rank or in that conversation, the UFC and other major organizations tend to snatch them up. So this is one of those, if you want to see some up-and-comers before they get to the big show, this is a good place to watch Punchy Kick You at lunch. That brings us to the biggest show of the weekend, this coming weekend. That is BKFC's Knuckle Mania 5, kicking off at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Saturday evening, headlined by the Underground King himself, Eddie Alvarez, taking on Jeremy Stevens. Co-main event here, another big one, Mick Terrell versus Ben Rothwell, heavyweight badassery. This card has got all sorts of fun and fuckery lined up on it. It's definitely going to be something interesting to watch in Philly, at home for Alvarez. Who the fuck is that guy's trying to take him out? They're both juiced to the tits. It's going to be interesting, if nothing else. But that's not the last one, because kicking off an hour later at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central Standard, is LFA 200, their number 200 episode here, or event rather, headlined by Elijah Johns versus Lorian Douglas, Shannon Clark versus Cheyenne Bowers, ladies in the co-main event. This is one of those organizations, again, feeder organization for the UFC and stuff like that. They get to the top, they get to title caliber winning ways, they generally get snatched up. So there will be only a couple that the casuals know on this card, but you're going to like combat sports in the evening Saturday without the UFC, and there is plenty of that. So that being said, that will bring us to the point here where we have one segment on the show that does actually require its own disclaimer. So if you will, Tapology.com does not in any way, shape, or form support, sponsor, or endorse the I'm No Joe podcast yet. That being said, they do offer you the option to go onto their site, create a free account, and make fantasy-style MMA picks like we do here on the show. They even let you make groups. So we made one. It's called ImNoBookie, all one word, or Group 965, however you need to find it. The group is open to the public. You are welcome and encouraged to make yourself an account, join up, let us know who you are, and we will hold your picks accountable with our picks in a little segment that we call Tapology with TJ.
All right, we're going to jump into this. We're a week early, and that's fine. But we're going to break down fucking last week's UFC 311 Makhachev last minute Moicano. That's what I'm calling that pay-per-view. Because, you know, it's fucking fitting. How? The only reason I want to jump into this right away is there was a fucking firefight for last fucking place in the group. Up until like the last 3 fights, and then it kind of spread out a little bit, but there was a long fucking time where there was 4 or 5 people fighting for that fucking just bottom spot. Now, to no surprise of anybody, Don River Tour takes it again, tripping over his dick. 613 correct for 330 points. Barely squeaked out of it was Vindog. 5 of 13 correct. But those 2 semi-perfects he got were just the amount enough to get him over the fucking edge. And also he got 3 fucking decision picks, whereas Don couldn't fucking get a decision to save his fucking life. That would have been 75 points more had he got 3 of them. Would have easily put him up into the 400 category and well out of the way of last place. But no, he fucked it. But there was a fight between Christian, Benny, Fucking Don. Meter was down there for a minute. It was fucking wild. To the credit of everyone, minus well, our last two place guys there, everybody was well north of fucking 500. Oh, I've been saying this for fucking weeks. Top spot goes back to Nick, Don's son. Named fucking 11 of 13 correct. 725 points. When he gets into the next fucking Grand Prix that we hold, he's going to be a fucking problem for everybody in the group. I was having a fucking day. I was having a great day until like there was 3 fights in there that went completely sideways that I'm pretty sure nobody picked right. One, the Peyton Talbot fight. Peyton fucked everybody there. He fought like absolute dog shit, and obviously we found the hole in his game, which is getting off of his fucking back. Because he does not know how to get up. And to be honest, you're not going to see him as a minus 2,000 favorite anymore. Not at all. Guaranteed, because that's what he was going into this last week, but that shit ain't going to happen. So congratulations to Nick. Don, get your fucking shit together. You solidified last place, guaranteed. I haven't even pulled up the Grand Prix yet to even look at it to see where everything was. Well, we're going to do that now, but I'm pretty sure Don decided to solidify his position in the last place there. Donna pulled away from me this week. So she's still sitting in the top spot because she squeaked by me by a couple of points. She's sitting at 5,085. I'm sitting number 2 at 4,790. Christian sitting at 4,425 in the 3 spot. Meter sitting at 4,125 in the 4 spot. Vin Dog fucking extended his lead over fucking River Tour at 37.55, and Don with his terrible showing at 32.10. He's sub 500 on the picks right now at 52 of 116 correct.
Which is actually funny because if he would just put his picks in together for both of his accounts, it wouldn't be this bad.
Yeah, because if you look, Don's my neighbor. I know him real well. He's got fucking 2 accounts, one on his computer and one on his phone. It just so happens his phone picks are in our group. If you look at his other account, he's fucking murdering it. And I told him the other day, I was like, Don, what you need to do is while you're putting in your picks on your computer, have your phone one ready and just do them the exact same across the board. You'd be whipping everybody's fucking asses over here or come damn fucking close. But I think he explained it to me when I was over at his house the other week. He's like, well, what I do is the one I use my brain on, and on my phone, I kind of go with what my heart's telling me. I was like, I get it. Because I'm not gonna lie, there are fights where I go, I know this isn't the case, but my love of this fighter or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna pick him anyways, and it fucks me every time. But there are some times where it proved me correct. Now, if you guys didn't know, Tapology is fucking free. I know you motherfuckers like free shit, and I'm gonna harp this every fucking week till I get everyone in here up on our group. Come over to Tapology, join it. Absolutely free. Join our little group. ImNoBookie, group 965. However you got to search for it, it doesn't matter. It's free. You don't have to tell us who you are. You can just come in and see how you do. And then if you're doing well and you want to hop in and get told you're doing well or like shit, we can tell you that. Now, let you notice, I didn't fucking call out everybody in the group this week because some people are just middle of the road guys. Middle of the road guys don't get fucking mentioned. You either have to be at the top or the bottom to get mentioned here. So as long as you're just a mediocre guy at best, you're not going to get picked on, but you're also not going to get patted on the back. So it's okay to be mediocre and just that one of the pack, or one of us, that kind of thing. But yeah, come over, join us. It's fucking free. Tapology is great fucking fun. We're not doing this for money. It's just for shits and giggles. And a little bit of bragging rights here and there. Like, unfortunately, I have a feeling with only 2 events remaining, I'm going to have a hard time catching Donna at fucking almost 300 points behind her because she's really got to shit the bed one week, and I've really got to do well. Like, even right now, I've got to really shit the bed, and Christian's got to do really well for him to take over the second spot because there's a 300-point gap between us. And it's kind of the same way the whole way down the line right now. I think we're kind of set where we're going to be. It's about 300 between everybody, other than Vinny and fucking Don, because Don's fucking 500 points behind him. But that's neither here nor there. The other thing we're going to touch on today is we're going to jump over and I'm going to cover odds, but only PFL. PFL's got some fucking obnoxiously wild fucking odds. Now, as every week I do this, I'm looking at the Bet MGM odds. So if you go look somewhere else, the odds may vary. Generally, I would say I'm only going to cover some of these. I'm going to cover most of these because most of the odds are fucking absolutely fucking crazy. There's only 3 fights on here that are not worth mentioning the odds because they're coin flips. So we're not going to touch those ones, but I'm going to hit every other one. Hadid Omar Al Hassani and Ruel Panales. They've got Hassani coming in as a minus 325 favorite. Panales is a plus 260 underdog. Moving on up here, we're going to look at Mike Thompson. And I'm gonna fuck Mirazal fucking Akhmov, or however the fuck you say that. I don't honestly care. But they've got Akhmov coming in as a minus 600 favorite over a plus 425 underdog in Mike Thompson. Oh, I'm gonna skip over this crazily wild one and move up to a different one here. You've got Ibramov or Ibramov, Jesus fucking Christ, and Kenny Makonoa. I don't fucking know. It's too many fucking consonants and vowels back to back there. I don't speak Russian or German or any fucking thing where they've got crazy shit like that. So, okay, Ibrahim coming in as a minus 600 favorite over Kenny, just his first name, as a plus 425 underdog. Now, for these super crazy fucking odds that are on this card, I'm going to start with Clavier Fernandez and Hernat Kavalov. Kavalov is sitting as a minus 2,000 favorite. Over Fernandez is a plus 950 underdog. Crazy, right? But wait, there's more. Those odds are exactly equal to the Tim Johnson and Vadim Nemkov fucking fight. They've got Nemkov coming in as a minus 2,000 favorite, and Tim Johnson coming in as a plus 950 underdog. Those are the widest odds on the fucking card. Now, because one of those falls into the fucking co-main main thing, we're going to cover the other portion of this, which is the fucking main there, in Paul Hughes and Umar Nurmagomedov. These are fucking wide odds, too. They've got Nurmagomedov coming in as a minus 600 favorite, and Paul Hughes is a plus 425 underdog. Like I said, only 3 fights, or excuse me, there's only 3 fights on this card that are pretty close to coin flips. The rest of them are all these crazy ass wide fucking odds.
Especially after Paul Hughes just fucking dismantled AJ McKee, where he was the plus 2,000 underdog, and he beat the shit out of AJ McKee, and now they're gonna put him as the fucking underdog again, coming in against Usman.
I'm wondering if it's because they're worried it's fucking Umar Nurmagomedov's got a fucking Nurmagomedov name. Right. Obviously, they didn't see what happens when you put him against the fucking tank.
Right.
So PFL's got some wild shit going on the plus side to this, though. If you're looking to make crazy bets and some weird, crazy shit happen, PFL is the place to do this. Because, well, PFL, their fighters are not UFC tier. They have some guys that are former UFC fighters, but they're not UFC fighters anymore for a reason, which means any day that switch can be turned on fully and those guys are going absolutely batshit out of their mind, or they could very well be right in the odds. But there's been a lot of their fight cards where crazy shit happens that you're not expecting. So PFL is one of those places where you want to make a crazy bet. You want to bet on Fernandez $100 to win 950 if he beats fucking Hanat. Feel free. I mean, it's crazy. Tim Johnson probably is not going to beat Nemkov, but we've seen Johnson do some crazy shit before. I mean, $100 to win 950, but also that looks the other way around though. If you're betting on Nemkov, you have to spend $2,000 to make 100, which is fucking crazy. And people who do that are just not right in the head because it's not worth it. But
yeah, you better throw that a real strong parlay if you want to make any money on that shit.
Yeah, a real strong parlay. Like even betting on Paul Hughes, $100 gets you 425. Those aren't bad odds against fucking Umar. To be honest, what we've seen him do, the AJ McKee, it's just a fucking. It just goes to show that the dude's legitimate, and well, we'll see. But again, your odds are going to vary, and they are going to change closer as fucking we get to the fight day, and they will change as the fights are happening because there are a lot of fucking places where you can make bets during the fight. So make sure you're paying attention. And depending on where you're at, your odds may vary. But then we'll see in like another week or so. On the plus side, I'm not going to have to cover what happened last week on our next outing. I'll just give fucking odds, which is kind of nice. I'm not going to lie. Shorten this shit up. Yeah, because I think our next card is February 1st, so next Saturday.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So that is pretty much all we have got for this particular episode. So first and foremost, if you tuned in this far, thank you for being a part of this. If you are new around here, we do this pretty much every Thursday where there are fights to talk about live over on youtube.com/at ImNoJoe, 9 o'clock-ish Central Standard Time. If you can't catch it live or don't want to watch the replay, I understand. I also own mirrors. And for that reason, the week after we go live, we put the podcast out in the all audio format over on anchor.fm/ImNoJoe. You can pick it up there at your podcast consumption platform of choice. Google, Spotify, Apple, it is everywhere through there, free to consume there as well. Please make sure if you are picking this up, you got your notifications turned on and you are subscribed with your bell ringing or whatever it is on whatever platform you're getting it, so you don't miss an episode of the show. On the opposite side of that coin, though, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you still doing this deep into a podcast you didn't enjoy? Give it a thumbs down and then go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, when we wrap up shop around here on Thursday nights, that is not the end of the fun because I'm fairly confident that tomorrow and pretty much every Friday, the youngster and his other half are going to be dropping their podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast, over on Spreaker.fm. The links to their podcast and all of their socials, as well as those guys' very own channel on the ImNoJoe Discord server, all down below. Go check that out as well. And if you didn't know, at least for the winter for right now, Wednesday nights, the Foggy Fairway goes down pretty much every Wednesday over there about 8:30 Central Standard Time ish, because life happens as well. But over on the Golf T Vapes YouTube channel, you can come, you can hang out, you can talk some shit, you can learn a little bit about mixing some bathtub e-liquid with us, you can learn a little bit about advocacy sometimes, or you can just hang out, be a bump on the wall, and watch us make fools of ourselves. We do it all the time, and we have a good time. So you should come check that out. The links to his channel as well as his social medias are all down in the description as well, so don't miss that.
Hey, sir. Now, for those you don't know, we've got plenty of time off over the next week, so you're probably gonna have some time to kill. If you need some things to do, the meter does do more than one thing. In fact, he does many things. So if you go down below, click on one of the links, linktree/the meter does many things, linktree/ImNoJoe. That'll take you to all of the many things that the meter does do and help you kill that week's worth of time till we come back to talk about fucking, is it UFC 311? Or fucking whatever, oh no, non-pay,
Saudi Arabia.
excuse me, non-pay-per-view. I'm thinking pay-per-view because Izzy's on it. It's gonna be the first time fucking Izzy hasn't been in a pay-per-view in fucking years. But
First time in
is fucking
12
main eventing.
fights. First
Yeah.
time in 12 fights, Israel Adesanya has not been in a title fight. He's still main eventing though. So
Yeah. Oh, we'll be talking about that. And that'll be fucking interesting. So see you all next week.
thank you very much, sir. But that is all we have got for this particular episode. You do remember, because the way that they have changed things on YouTube here, we don't do review shows or recap shows anymore. What we do, on the other hand, though, if there is an interesting finish during a fight, aside from that Friday morning fight, there will be here on youtube.com/ImNoJoe. There's a tab called Shorts. Click on that tab, and any relevant finish that I am allowed to show you, I will make a point to show you, so you don't have to watch all the fights if you don't want to. You can just look for how the good ones ended, and I'll tell you all about it over there on the YouTube Shorts tab. That being said, that is all we have got for this particular episode. So until next time, boys and girls, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.